and man, it was awesome. I mean, they totally wrote my whole presentation, scripted it out, graphics, everything. I mean, it was doing pretty well for me before, but I cannot wait to get in front of an audience. As a matter of fact, I'm going back to my hotel and I'm recording the webinar like tonight when I get back. So it was great. The work with these guys was great. I mean, everybody put a lot of effort. You know, the main thing I like about these guys is that it's all about a system. You know, they have a system to put everything together. They have a system to sell. They have a system to do presentation. So, you know, nothing is loosey-goosey. Nothing is left to chance. I mean, you know, everything is a system. And these guys work with the best. Now they work with me. They really work with the best. You know,
so funny. The speakers have little funny personalities. But I got one of these jump drives. Don't run to the front. Who would want one of these jump drives? You can stand up if you want. Who in this room, when did he record his webinar? Does anybody know?
Right after the training in the...
That night. Here we go. Let's give him a hand. Yes. He recorded it that night. After I wrote it, he recorded it that night. He did what? He took action. That's the key. Do the webinar. Record the webinar. Come on. We're talking life-changing, my friends. And it's easy and it's simple. So I've got one more, which is a nice one here. How many of you are considering would like to do like $1 million in 7 days? Anybody interested in one of those?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, let's just bypass all the process, right? So let me show you another cool one. This is Vanhoose, and let me go back. So, this gentleman here came to me, and unfortunately, he was struggling with cancer. And he called me up, and he was struggling. He says, Dave, I've got diagnosed with cancer. I'm concerned. The medical bills are going to be very high. I have a family. I need to generate a ton of money. So, what we decided, he's going to do a product launch. So, I sat down and used his presentation blueprint. I wrote his webinar. I wrote his what?
Webinar.
And then from there, he got a whole bunch of affiliates to promote that week. It's called a product launch, which I've helped many people set up product launches. And they all promoted that launch. And in a couple weeks, I'm not sure if it was 7 days or 2 weeks or whatever it was, he did $3 point something million.
Holy crap.
Right? So it really comes down to two things. One, having a system of a presentation, and then number two, traffic. Right? And that's Facebook ads, JVs, affiliates, driving massive traffic. That's the business that you're in. You're in traffic conversion. That's this whole industry. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Don't cloud everything you learned up. There's two things you do to become a millionaire. Drive traffic and convert it. That's it. That's this whole business. It's not picking up a phone calling people on Craigslist. That ain't gonna work. Maybe try that. That didn't work for me. After a couple of calls, I called him up. I couldn't do that. I did one webinar, speak on one stage. I'm done for a month. I mean, you do one presentation. I did one presentation, make more than I did in a whole year. I spoke for 1 year, did 14 million, made more than people make in a lifetime. That's leverage. 1 year and you're done. Retire. Right? So, and I'm going to say this real quick. For those of you that are getting like me, I'm in my 40s, getting up there now, we've got to start thinking seriously about retirement. I work with so many gurus and experts. I work with people that teach retirement, financial planning. And there's a big problem. People today are outliving their retirement. People today don't have pensions. And to retire, you need $3 million of cash, your house paid off, and no debt. $3 million in cash, house paid off, and no debt to retire. Or you're going to have to do with 80% of Americans have to go back to work. Where do most people have to go back to work to when they're in their 70s?
Walmart, retail, McDonald's.
Can you imagine being that old with arthritis and pain, have to stand there for 6-8 hours?
Minimum wage. Yep.
My friends, that is not good news. And right now, if you don't do something extremely about it, 80% of this room will be there. And that is sad. Now, you've got two strategies. One, I can start saving, maybe I'll put $500 away, save each month, and that. How long is that going to take you to hit $3 million and pay your house off? that strategy gonna work?
No.
Nope. You know what you better do? Better start doing some webinars and start speaking and make $1 million, $2 million, $3 million, pay off your house, pay off your debt, and retire. Right?
Yes.
If not, you're broke. And that is the truth. You better not do what an ostrich does. You know what an ostrich does?
Stick his head
Put
in
your
the
head in
sand.
the sand. I'm telling you right now, this is the truth. You better get very serious. You better overcome this fear of speaking. You better overcome this fear of webinars and speaking on stage, because if not, it's going to be bad news. If you're relying on the government to retire, forget about that. They ain't happening. There ain't nobody's going to save you. I'm here to tell you, please, just please, please, please. The easiest and simple way is speaking. And you have a formula. It's easy. Too many people are afraid to do it. Guess what? That's why you do it. There's no competition. Right? Why am I going to follow everybody else? I'll do what they don't want to do. I get up and talk for a little bit. That's okay. Not that hard to do a webinar record. So I work with Mike. Real quick, I want to hear what he has to say real quick.
Hi, this is Mike Haynes, and I'm here at Digital Cafe Studios in San Diego, and I've just spent a couple of days with Dave Vanhoose, and I want to give my personal testimonial to Dave and his team, because I went through his Power Day process. In fact, I wasn't even able to be there live. I did it remotely because I had some health challenges going on. But despite that, what I was able to get out of it was, first of all, I was just blown away with how structured the process was. For me, I've been speaking now and presenting on stage for about 7 years. And I've been writing my own presentations, doing keynotes, and one of the things I'm known for is I've done, right now, 7 consecutive multi-million-dollar launches, the largest of which produced $9.1 million in gross revenues, and also one single day of webcast, a live webcast that produced over $3 million, and actually produced $3.1 million in one day. So I'm always looking for a way to get an edge. And one thing I know is you never know everything. Okay, you constantly got to be going out and finding people who are better at things that you think you're good at or you want to be better at as well. And Dave is one of those guys. I've been following him for actually a couple of years, and people would say, you got to meet Dave, you got to meet Dave. So finally I picked up the phone, talked to him, and we had like an instant connection. I said, why don't you consider doing Power Days? It turns out that I needed some help. I needed to create my next platform presentation for a product I just completed. And the fact of the matter is, normally it takes me a good week, sometimes even 2 weeks, to get my platform presentations put together. Dave said, look, I can do it today. I'm like, no, you can't. He said, yeah, I can. I'll prove it to you. So I enrolled. And again, I expect this remotely, which is frankly going to be more challenging than being able to be completely immersed in an office environment like this. But Dave took me on a tour from his laptop. I met his entire team. We worked together, and sure as heck, by the end of the day, first draft of the presentation done. And frankly, it's fantastic. Again, he saved me a couple weeks. Now, what does a couple weeks mean? Well, if you think that I can go on a platform, if I can do either get on the stage, or I can do a webinar, for example. Typically, a webinar is going to produce $40,000 to $80,000 in revenue. If I get on stage, typically $50,000 to $150,000. So if I had a couple of events booked, just in the time I saved alone could be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars in additional revenue because I didn't have to do it myself. Now, if you've never done a presentation before, you've never created a keynote or a PowerPoint, I know how unbelievably overwhelming that might be for you. And
So I want to stop there. So you heard the prices that people are making when you do webinars and stages. How many of you believe those numbers to be true? Let me see your hands. Absolutely are true. Now, that much money being on the table, when do you think most people write their presentation?
Night before.
The night before. Do you realize how foolish that is? There's nothing more important than your business than to be doing a webinar speaking. Where are you going to make $80,000 an hour? What activity? What activity can pull that much?
True.
And you write the night before. Why do you think people wait till the night before? They do what? They procrastinate. And because they procrastinate, because it's such a big, complex complex thing, they don't know where to start. Right? So I gotta show you a simple, easy, step-by-step system so that you can easily and simply write your presentations so that you can do your webinars and speak on stage. Making sense? Man, they say my clock's over. Can you believe today went from live like this?
Yeah.
Wow! I gotta go to the most important thing, which is the close. Here you guys. So here's what I'm thinking of doing. How about I demonstrate a close instead and teach and show you? Is that pretty cool, yeah?
Yeah.
So what I'm going to do is, my next talk, I'm going to walk through presenting and show you how to close and show you how to communicate more effectively on stage. Would that sound like fun, you guys?
Yes.
Now, here's what I'm thinking of doing. I want to show a rush. I want to show how fun a rush can be and how cool it can be. Who in this room did not do one of those jump drives? Let me see your hands. Put up nice and high. And how many of you want me to show you how to get what I call a table rush? Let me see your hands. And are you guys ready back there by any chance? So here's what I'm thinking of doing. How many of you would like to have one of those $200-$300 products? Let me see your hands from my side. And if all it did for you was give you confidence and certainty, would it be worth the investment? So here's what I want to do. I'm going to do this. I think we've got about 50 or 100 of them back there, maybe 200 of them. So for the first 200 trips, I'm going to get up right now, go up that table is our free gift. And we're going to take a 10-minute break, and I'm going to come back.
So, yeah, it depends. Yeah, either in front, I'll just back up. My that one, just grab his hand, and then fall, and I glide. When we fall, I went boom! Quick reflexes is all I got, boys. That one? Yeah. All right. Break, eh? Good deal. You got a break time?